conversation with the voices in your head. They said that love has shut the door on you, and you'd be better off instead. Girl, don't you listen. Your time is gonna come. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. Yeah. So when you gonna let somebody in? It's a classic situation where you don't know how to feel, so you go it alone. You turn off the phone when the struggle gets too real. Yeah. Girl, you better listen. It's time to make a change. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody in? Yeah, let 'em in. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody in? Let 'em in. Had another rough conversation with the voices in your head. They said that love has shut the door on you, and you'd be better off instead. Girl, don't you listen. Your time is gonna come. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. Yeah. So when you gonna let somebody in? It's a classic situation where you don't know how to feel, so you go it alone. You turn off the phone when the struggle gets too real. Yeah. Girl, you better listen. It's time to make a change. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think
in this community what the stylists don't want to do anymore. Stylists don't want to shampoo. We're even partnering with stylists. They're saying, hey, I don't have the time to shampoo, so won't you go over to the shampoo bar? We're doing steam treatments, taking braids down, locks. So you come in, we're gonna shampoo, condition, put pomade, hair growth, stimulating growth, and we're gonna actually manipulate those beards. And if y'all have bundles and units, bring those in. We will bring them back to life. You drop off, we call you, you pick up. Just like a dry cleaner. We have 2 complimentary drinks. One is called the Tide. The next drink is called the Old Fashioned. And we're not going to tell you what's in any of these drinks. They are exclusive to the shampoo bar. I'm not telling you, okay? So go to our website. NLR.com. That's it.
All right. Good evening. Happy Wednesday evening to you. Broadcasting from the B-Love Entertainment Studios. I'm your host, B-Love. And tonight, we are doing On the Level with B-Level, where we have conversation with extraordinary people that are doing extraordinary things. And tonight we have 2 extraordinary people that are in our waiting room and going to start from the beginning and go to the end of the home buying process. If you are thinking about buying a home, tonight is the night that you need to be listening to the show, because they're going to walk you through the whole process from the start to the finish. Before I introduce my guest, I do need to tell you that every Wednesday night, all right, we have guests on this platform each and every Wednesday night at 7:30. Tonight we have LaQuanda Thompson and Bahani Agalheir, who is here and is going to talk about that. Tonight is February the 11th. And then next week, before we get to me, the last week, I'm going to skip to the last week, February the 25th, we have Telly Norrell Sr., who's going to come on, and I'm going to have a conversation with him. But next week is B-Level's birthday. And normally I do a really big birthday party, right? But this year, doing things a little bit different, I am going to do my first On the Level with B-Level interview. So next Wednesday, I'm going to sit on the other side of this table and I am going to unpack my baggage. So tune in to my big interview on my birthday. And I'm telling everybody, I've been saying everything that I do except Cash Apps. People ask me all the time, what do you get somebody that has everything? Some more of everything. All right, give me some more. I take Cash App, I take cash, all of those things. But next Wednesday, 7:30, my interview, since everything has happened, since my big divorce, since everything, like literally, I'm going to really unpack my baggage on next Wednesday at 7:30. And it's going to be hosted by my very own friend, Tony Seville. She has over 30 years in the radio game. She is going to be interviewing me. So don't forget, next Wednesday, 7:30, right here on this platform. Okay. Now let me go ahead. As I said, Wednesdays is for extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. Let me go ahead and introduce my guests, bring them up front. Let me introduce them. Welcome. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are y'all feeling tonight?
Feeling great.
I mean, we're sitting here with B-Level, so we have to be feeling great.
Stop
right?
it. So I told everybody that if they are looking to buy a home, or do you guys also do commercial properties as well, or just home?
Residential, commercial, new construction, land.
Okay, Bahani, you do the lending for commercial as well?
I don't do commercial, but I have an avenue and I can always refer them. I have a lot of friends that are commercial owners so that I can refer. Okay. Well, I have the people. Just listen up. I have the people here to help you. Okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do my open statement and then we're going to get into our conversation. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Tonight's conversation is about ownership, not just the dream of owning a home, but the reality of what it actually takes to get there. A lot of people want to buy a home, but don't always understand the credit, the income, savings, and preparation behind the scenes, or how the realtor and the lender work together to make this happen. So tonight, I'm sitting down with LaQuanda Thompson of Dream Space Realty Group and Bahani Agalheir, a lender from Flat Branch Mortgage, to break down the process from both sides. No fluff, no confusion, just real information to help people make smart moves towards home ownership. So I would like to welcome to the On the Level with B-Level,
podcast, LaQuanda Thompson and Bahani Agalheir. Now, Bahani, did I pronounce your name right? I've been practicing this.
Yes.
I've been practicing this for 3 weeks, right?
Yes.
I do want to start off by letting you guys first introduce yourself. How long you guys have been in the business, talk a little bit about your business, and give people a snapshot of who you guys are. Because ladies are always first, and she looks better than you and I behind it. She is a beautiful lady. I'm gonna let her go first. LaQuanda, tell these people in a nutshell, who is LaQuanda Thompson?
Who is LaQuanda? I feel like I'm an onion with layers. But my name is LaQuanda Thompson. I am the principal broker and owner of Dreamspace Realty Group. I started my real estate career in 2018. Before that, I was working in adult education. Throughout my career, I went on and did real estate for 3 years, along with working a full-time job. And then I decided I wanted to expand my knowledge and did new construction for 3 years of my career. And then I decided, hey, when I leave this new construction project, I'm going to go into owning my own brokerage. So I developed and started Dreamspace Realty Group December of 2024. And it has been wonderful. I got into real estate because I truly am passionate about it. I love helping people, especially people in our community. A lot of people in our communities, they just never seen home ownership up close. And so when you don't see it, you don't believe that you can achieve that goal. And so my mission has been not to just sell homes, but to educate and show people how empowering it is to own a piece of real estate. I mean, real estate can really change your life. It helps you to start generational wealth. And so I truly love it. I have 8 amazing agents that work under me. And our goal is really just to help people. I have a ton of experience. After I did real estate for several years, I went back to re-educate myself and to become a broker. And so that's how I became principal broker of Dreamspace Realty Group. So that gives me an extra bit of knowledge than a regular sales professional would have. So I've a 2-time Diamond Award recipient, selling no less than 7 million in volume, multi-million-dollar producer, 2-time Hard and Hustle recipient winner. But it's not really about that. If you go to my clients, they're gonna be like, oh, that Quanda, that's my girl, because they know look 100%. Yeah.
Well, that was a great introduction. I mean, I couldn't have, if you had sent me a bio, I wouldn't have done it any better. So let's just, with your rewards, I know that you were really uncomfortable with talking about those rewards. And I said, Quanda, I want you to say this. Listen, people need to know that you know what you're doing, right? So when you get rewards, a lot of times, rewards are not as important as just really letting everybody know your accolades and that you just know what you're doing. So big round of applause to you and your success that you had. Bahani, I don't know if you could beat that, man. That's hard to follow.
It's a hard one. That's a hard one.
But I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked LaQuanda. In a nutshell, who is Bahani Agalheir?
So Bahani Agalheir is this just young guy, got into the mortgage business, didn't even know what it was. Back in 2006. I just moved to Maryland, had a mortgage job, didn't know exactly what I was getting into. I just thought I was getting a job with a salary. Came to find out it was a sales job. I said, oh man, I'm in trouble. I'm in a whole different state. Don't even know what I'm doing. And I had so many months to train. And I said, hey, I'm not gonna make it with this small salary. You need to start letting me get out and sell. And this was life-changing for me because I just loved what I did. I love helping people, and helping them get into a house was always just amazing. Every single deal was feeling of accomplishment, feeling of helping someone or family get into a house. So that became my passion. I just loved it. It was something that some people was a job. For me, it was more of I just could do it without, how much without
It
getting
was a
paid.
natural
It
fit. It
wasn't
was a
about the
natural
money
fit.
to me. It was
Yeah.
about just helping that client, helping that family, and I just stuck to it. I could do it at any time. Um, Academically, I went to UCA. I have a bachelor's in computer information systems. Then I did my MBA in finance. Um, I've been in the mortgage business since 2006, so almost 20 years. This year will be 20 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that was one of the questions that I was going to ask you, Quanda. How long? He said 20 years. How long have you been in the real as a realtor? How long have you been a realtor?
This year, July will make 8 years for me.
Okay. 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 I need to give you a hand clap for the introduction, Bahani. So for those of you guys who are tuning in, I need you guys to share the live. Share it in the comment, and I'll shout you out. If you have any questions for Bahani or LaQuanda, put it in the comment section, and we will try to get to your answers. No question is too big or too small for these professionals. They can help you out. Okay. Now, the first question and the first part of our interview, I'm going to ask questions that either one of you guys can answer. And then I thought it would be really neat to talk to, even though Quanda will be here, focus on the lending part. And then lastly, focus on the real estate part. Okay. So, but the first part is just asking questions from the both of you guys. Any one of you guys can answer. I don't know if I should go back and forth, but I'll take since I let Quanda go first, I'm going to ask Bahani, what is the difference in a lender versus a realtor?
okay, well, so the lender really would see, get you pre-qualified, see how much of a house you can afford first, um, because the last thing you want to do is start as a realtor taking a buyer seeing a $400,000 house, but they only qualify for $100,000 house. Now all of a sudden, the $100,000 house no longer looks good, So our job is to get them where they can afford, make sure that it's comfortable for them as well. If you're used to paying $500 in rent, we don't want you to start paying $2,000 in rent, because that may not be comfortable for you. So
Okay.
we get them pre-qualified, we're getting them prepared, get all the expectations set up, and then we send them to the realtors who shows them the houses and get exactly what they want. And I can let LaQuanda, I guess, piggyback into that.
Quanda,
Yes.
so what's the job of the realtor?
So we do show houses, and I think that's the thing that everybody sees because it's on HGTV. Oh, you go in this nice, beautiful home, you see it, but it's a lot of things that take place behind the scenes. So we are responsible for negotiating on behalf of that client, making sure that the client is protected as far as the contract is related. Whatever is
Mm-hmm.
in that contract, we make sure that we protect our buyer or seller's interest in that. We also help our sellers to position their homes on the market correctly by looking at other comparable homes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are also we also make sure that things are lined up as far as connecting buyers or sellers with inspectors, appraisers, um, sometimes contractors. I mean, we do a lot of things. We put out fires. We babysit when it's showing. When the kids are rowdy, so the parents can go and look at the house. I mean, we do a lot of things. We are counselors. We pick up phones in the middle of the night when the buyer seller is stressed. Oh my God, I need this house to sell. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they're asking. Bahani has asked me for my this, my that. They just want my blood. What else is left? And we're like, calm down.
Yeah.
Visit,
Yeah.
let's get back to the round table. So we do a lot of things that people don't see behind the scenes.
So is it fair? Is it fair? Because I like to simplify things, right? Is it fair that we go to Bahani to get the money? We go to you to spend the money.
That's correct. And that is the proper order.
Big round of applause for me. I got it. We go to Bahani to get the money, and we go to LaQuanda to spend the money. Okay. Adriana Barnes is saying, hi, LaQuanda Thompson and Bahani Agalheir here for the support. Okay. Adriana, please share it. Huh?
That's my TC. We have to give her a shout out. So she handles all of my documents, making sure that when I have a contract come in, everything is sent out in a timely fashion and everybody gets what they need. So shout out to Audrey with streaming transactions.
Okay. And we're going to get into, as I said, you were talking about pre-qualifying. Bahani, we're going to get into that when we get into just your segment. Here's the next question that I want to ask you guys. How do realtors and lenders work together to protect buyers? Who wants to tackle that? How do you guys work together? Or is that foreign? Does the lender normally work with the buyer, or do they never talk in this process?
Oh, we have to talk.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of times, Brian, it depends, because you have some buyers who they don't want their business shared. And but sometimes you have to know what's going on in order to be able to get the deal to work, in a smooth way. Because there could be, for instance, that, hey, LaQuanda, we need more closing costs for this buyer because we just need it because we don't have enough funds, but if you're not sometimes supposed to share too much information, then I'll say, hey, we need a little bit more money just to make it where the buyer doesn't have to come up with anything, and so we do have to talk, we have to communicate, and sometimes we get together and go, we're on one side and we have to fight, almost against the other side to make sure we get the best deal for our client.
Okay, so it is important if those two people have a relationship that for the buyer that is important that they are at least on speaking terms, on the same page with what we're trying to accomplish. And so oftentimes you two are working together for the best interest of the customer.
Of the client, always. And let me just say this too. When we say talk, there are some things that are just confidential that I will never know about the client as far as their financials are concerned, their income, things of that nature, because that's between them and their lender. But what Bahani's saying is, like, if they do need closing costs, if we do need to ask for certain other types of concessions, if we do need to extend our closing date in order to make the deal work, those are things that we have to come together and make work. And like you said, we've had clients that he was, their lender and I was the agent, where they fell short on some funds, and had we not gotten together, it wouldn't have worked, because with him being able to say, hey, listen, we're short this amount of money, then I had to go to that seller and say, hey, can you do XYZ for this buyer? And in this particular situation, they weren't willing to. And so Bahani and I took a cut on our end in order to get that buyer in the home, because this is how we see it. It's sometimes this opportunity for these buyers, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. For us, God will bless us. We have other opportunities to sell another home and to meet another family and to make money. But some of these people, this is it for them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you can't be in this business and be about self,
Okay. I want to ask you guys a question. Is there a stereotype that Black people are less prepared to buy homes? Is that a stereotype that you guys go against a lot of times?
People feel like that sometimes, but I don't see, I'm going to be honest with you, being in this industry, I'm not going to say it's a Black people thing. I'm going to say it's just people who just have not prepared themselves, period. I feel, now this is mine, but Bahani might feel different. I've seen people from all races either are prepared or not prepared. And sometimes the ones you think aren't prepared are the ones who are prepared. Right. But I will say overall, and sometimes in our community, there are a lot of people who they lack the knowledge. They weren't told what to do. They weren't told about saving, how important it is to keep up with their credit and to pay their bills on time, to keep their debts lower, and I was one of those people, when I first, and I'm not ashamed to say it, the very first time that I bought my first house, 12, 13 years ago, my credit was horrible,
Mhm.
and it wasn't because I was just out here, living crazy. I just didn't know any better. So if my stuff was, 3 days later, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I'm paying it,
Right,
what's the big
right,
deal?
right.
So I just feel like it's just a lot of people in our community, honestly, they just don't have that. They're not educated before they get to the process of buying a home, if that makes sense.
Okay, that was you. But Bahani, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to skip with the she answered that. I'm going to ask you, what is the biggest mistake first time buyers make that you see a lot of times?
A lot of times is sometimes they listen to people, and every home buying situation is different. You can have someone with great credit score, but they lack the income. You have another one that's got a lower score, but they have plenty of income. Or so every situation is different. It's almost like trying to fit a square into a circle. It's not
Mhm.
going to work, So you just have to tailor that buyer's specific situation to either a program, or to exactly what they need for it to work. So sometimes they listen to, oh, this person bought this and it was like this. The times
Mhm.
are different, the rates are different, your
Mhm.
income is different than theirs. Yes, they had a lower score and they easily bought a house, but you have a higher score, but you may have
Right.
had a lot more debt than the other, and so on and so forth. So it's really, what I always tell people is start the process, see where you are. If you stick with it, you'll get to it. Just stick with it
Good.
and in there.
Good. Quan, I want to ask you, if someone is planning to buy a home within the next year, all right, what is the one piece of advice that you wish every buyer heard earlier that makes you and Bahani job easier?
Preparation. If you know that you want to buy a home next year, this is the time to start getting if you have debts that are high, or, credit card debts or whatever, get those lowered. And Bahani can probably say the preference as far as the percentage that those need to be at. Um, don't open up any new, lines of credit without speaking to your lender first,
Mhm.
and then I will say this. Sometimes this is something that I feel works, that I encourage people that come to me. Even if you are a year out, it's a good idea to go ahead and talk to a lender. Give, a person like Bahani a call, because Bahani can look at their credit with them and help them come up with a game plan and say, hey, if you want to be ready in a year or 6 months or whatever, these are the things that we need to tackle, so that they're not just shooting in the dark and just, like you said, coming in contact with somebody who feels like they know it all because they bought one house and they, oh,
Mhm.
you should do this or you shouldn't do that, and I had to do this, and then they're tangled up in this web and they're still not where they need to be in that year. So preparation to me is just key. Being intentional about your credit, your budget, your debt, all of those things.
All right, I want to focus on you, Bahani. For those of you guys who are tuning on, we're talking to Bahani Agalheir and LaQuanda Thompson. We're talking home buying process. If you've been thinking about buying a home, but you're afraid, you don't think you match up well, listen to this podcast. Please share the live. If you have a question that you need to ask either to the lender or the realtor, which is here, put it in the comment section and we will get to it. Okay. Now I want to focus on the money first. All right. We got to go get the money, Quanda. We got to go get the money before I
I
can come
do.
see you, Quanda. I got
That's
to go see Bahani. So I want to talk to Bahani first. Okay. Bahani, I want you to walk us through when someone comes to your office and they want to apply for financing. How long does this process take? Can they do it online? What do they need to bring with them? We're going to talk about credit, but let's not get the credit first. Just what do they need to do when they're planning on coming to see you, and how long does that process take?
When they come to see me, they just need to typically they just have to do an application. The application, you probably can get it done within 5 to 10 minutes of your
Hmm.
time, and then they can do it online from an app. I can call them and we can do it in person. So that's very, very simple. Once they do that, then I usually can run it the same day. They can upload all their documents online on the app, or they can bring everything if they're not computer savvy. Just bring all the documents with them to me, and I can upload it for them. And
Okay.
I'm really flexible. I go out and meet them if it's easier for them, because some of them just don't know how to do it. And because again, I just want them to get the dream of home ownership.
Okay, for those of you guys who are thinking about that, I've just put up the QR code. All right, all you have to do is, if you have a smartphone, scan your phone, scan your TV. If you're looking at it, it will take you right to the financing process. Just scan it, fill out there, and once they scan this and they fill out the paperwork, do you get back in contact with them? Bahani, do they contact you? How does that process go once they scan this QR code?
Once they scan the QR code, they'll have an app to download. They can complete an application, or they can learn how, how much it would be. There's a mortgage calculator to see kind of how much everything would be as far as the payment, on the house.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then they scan it, download the app. They can complete the application. Then I would contact them and go over it with them. If everything isn't ready, I give them a game plan of, hey, you're not ready, but it's close. All you have to do is this, this, and that, and then you should be ready if you stick to the plan.
So I don't know who, I think they're talking about. Don Foots is saying, "Cuz you looking good on the Level podcast. I got some new plans, so I will call you soon." Quan, is he talking about you?
That's my cousin. Hey, Foot.
Okay, so Bahani, let's talk about, people ask you this all the time. I bet you if you had $1 for every time somebody asked you this, you would probably be rich. What does somebody credit score have to look like to get a loan from you?
So there are mainly, we can do loans, we can do 580 credit score, but
Okay.
but ideally you want to be at about 640, just so you
Mhm.
have more options, right? You can have options for down payment assistance. The lower your score, the more limited you are in
Okay.
area. It's just not as smooth for the most part. But sometimes you can have a 580 that's as easy as an 800 credit score. So just 640 is the goal, to have about a 640 credit score, just so you have a lot more options.
What else goes into the decision of how much someone is approved for, right? You talked about credit score, right? So let's say I have a 700 credit score. Does that automatically mean that I am going to be pre-approved for a $500,000 home? What else do you use to decide what you're pre-qualified to start looking at?
That's a great question. So mainly we look at the debt to income ratio. So that
Okay.
would, the easy way to determine what your debt to income ratio would be is all of your debt divided by your monthly income. So if you make $6,000 a month, and let's say your house note is $2,000, and all your minimum monthly payments are, add up to say $1,000,
Mm-hmm.
and all your debt for the house would be $3,000, and then you make $6,000, so your debt to income ratio would be 50%. So typically you want to be at that or lower. In some cases you can go a little bit higher, but that's kind of
Gotcha. Gotcha. For those of you guys who are tuning in, I am going to leave that QR code the whole time that Bahani is talking about. You want to scan it. If he says something that you want to have a conversation with him and you want to apply for some financing, I'm going to leave that QR code on there the whole time. So all you have to do is take your cell phone, go to your camera, scan the QR code, and it'll take you right to the application process. Okay. Bahani, we talked about credit, right? We talked about debt to ratio, income. Okay. What's a decent amount of money to set aside in case you have to put money down, or are all loans financed and you don't have to put any money down?
Okay, so there are, with home loans, there are different types of programs.
Okay.
And that's where, you have to kind of look at everyone's situation. Some loans have income limits, for the down payment assistance. So we actually can get people money to be able to get a house with no money down in a lot of instances. And that's what we aim for the most part. If you have money set aside, I'd rather use whatever's available for you, and then you just use your money to move in or just to have a nest egg. But
Okay.
A good amount would be about 3.5% at least, to
Okay.
have, saved up.
So when you say 3.5%, whatever you're approved for, let's say you're pre-approved for a $500,000 home,
Mhm.
you would, in your mind, need to somehow a good amount of money to have in case you have to put it is 3.5% of 500,000 or whatever you're pre-approved for. Is that a fair way
I
to
would
say
say
it?
that's a fair amount to have,
Okay. Let
but
me
you
ask
don't.
you a question. Did I interrupt you? Go ahead. You were going to
No,
say
no, no. I
something.
would say you don't
Okay.
necessarily have to have that, but it depends on everything, right? So if your credit score is really high, and then say we have a down payment assistance program for you, then you may not need to have anything saved up, But if your score is lower, everything kind of changes that based on that customer situation.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Is having no credit better than having bad credit?
Um, so actually, we can do no credit. If you have zero score, no credit, and nothing bad on it, you just pay. You're used to paying everything cash. As long as you have what they call non-traditional credit. So if you have a utility bill, like gas bill, water bill, electric bill, and you haven't been over 30 days late on any of them for in the past year,
Hmm.
we can get you financed.
How long does the pre-approval process takes? If I was to fill this out tomorrow online, I had all of the documents that I need that you're requesting for. How
Usually,
long do you get back and say, B level, you are pre-approved for $1 million? How long does that process take?
usually same day. And if you call me and say, "Hey, I need this like right now. Can you run it for me?" I can run it as soon as you have the application completed. I can run it and call you back. Say, "Hey, you are pre-approved for this much. Send you the pre-approval, and you can now go with LaQuanda and start shopping."
So you literally can be talking to you one day and talking to Quanda the next.
Yes.
Or
Folks,
simultaneously.
say, okay, all right. Folks, scan this QR code. I still have it on the screen. If you want some money, Bahani has all the money you need, right? If you are qualified to get the money, he's showing y'all the money. Scan the QR code is right here, right here, right here. Scan the QR code. Bahani is the money man. All right. He got the paper, he got the scratch, he got the Skrilla. Folks, scan the QR code if you want to get some money. Okay. Let me ask you this, Bahani. Are there any first buyer programs where you can help people who may not have the income? They're buying their first home. They're maybe 21, they're 22, they've never bought a home before. Do you have any first buying programs that people can qualify for?
Yes, sir. We have a ton of them. We have several. We have the City of Little Rock down payment assistance, where the house has to be located within the City of Little Rock city limits. That one doesn't have a whole lot of restrictions. And you can typically go at the highest ratio. We have that one available. We have all the Arkansas Department of all the ADFA programs with the state of Arkansas. Those require 640 credit score.
Mm-hmm.
We have USDA loans that we can do at a 580 credit score, or if you have a no score, we can do that as well. Those would have to be in a rural area, so more like the Benton. I mean, the house has to qualify, and you
Yeah.
have to be under a certain income limit to qualify. All those programs do not require any money down.
Cool. Cool. Can someone still qualify if they've had past bankruptcies, credit issues, late payment? Can you still get them some money, Bahani?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, if you've had a bankruptcy, I'm doing one right now that's about to close in a few days. You can qualify. So with bankruptcies, typically you have two types. You have the Chapter 13 bankruptcy. That's where you
Mm-hmm.
make payments over time. As
Mm-hmm.
long as you've been in it for a year and you haven't been late, which most of them are payroll deducted, so you usually shouldn't be late. But if you haven't been late for a year, you can show your payment history.
Mm-hmm.
You can still qualify. um, you do have to have permission from the judge to be able to incur another loan, but you can
Okay.
do it. If you've had a bankruptcy like a Chapter 7, most would require a waiting period. Usually
Okay.
the lowest one is at least 2 years. Now, if
Okay.
you unless you've had some kind of extenuating circumstance, like if death of one of the primary wage earners, if it was a spouse and his wife, and one died, you can show or if you had any extensive medical conditions, like something very severe, like cancer, things like that, you can sometimes get an exception. Those are, to where you don't have to wait for the whole 2 years.
Okay. Now, I heard you talk about it, and I say we were going to get into it. How much does debt affect your buying power? You make a lot of money, but you
Yeah.
owe a lot of people, Bahani. How
Yeah.
how does that affect? Hey, man, I make $300,000, but I also got $250,000 worth of debt, and people don't understand that somebody can make less money and have more of a pre-approval than somebody that makes 300, but they had their debt to ratio income. So explain to me how much debt controls your buying power.
It can affect you quite a bit, but it depends on the type of debt, right? So sometimes the debt could be student loans. You may have someone, hey, this person is a doctor, or it's a lawyer, they have $500,000 in student loans. And that's where the programs, I was telling you, you have to kind of tailor everything to that buyer. They may have a very, very high credit score. And then in this case, we may be able to do a conventional loan where we don't count, if the payments on credit are saying, hey, because of your income being not high enough for 500,000, your payment is zero, then we may be able to count zero and still get you qualified. As I've had attorneys and, who had just a whole lot of student loans, but sometimes couldn't get qualified, and we were able to get them qualified based on, student loan, they call the income-based repayment plan, which was low, as long as it wasn't zero. So a lot of times, that's what I'm saying. Everything is different depending on the buyer,
different people, different situations.
Yeah.
Now, Bahani, you already got somebody who giving you a good reference. Rashawn Wilburn is saying Bahani Agalheir is the best there is. So I don't know. Have you dealt with Rashawn and Zanetta with some properties?
Yes. I actually did both houses. Yes.
Are you so you the mansion they in now? You did that one as well?
I did the first one and the second one. Yes, sir.
Well, listen, man. I know I have been to Rashawn and Zanetta's home, and so if you got that, listen. You got the paper, you got that cash if you gave them the money. They got a huge mansion out there in Cabot. I mean, ain't gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about something else. Yeah. So so let's talk about, you were talking about that one of the things that people do is they be comparing their situations with somebody else, right? I got a friend, I got pre-approved for a $500,000 house, but my payment is $3,000. My friend got approved for a $500,000 house, but his payment ain't but $2,500. How that happens? So tell them how interest rates affect their monthly payment. Explain that.
Yes. So right now, on average, rates are they're quite a bit higher than in the COVID times. In the COVID times, rates were running around 2 point something %, maybe low threes. Right now, all the rates are, this is with your income documents. All the rates are around the high fives to the low to mid 6%. So if you had 2 point something % versus 6%, you can see how your payment would be different from someone who bought the same size home, at a 2 point something % rate.
Right.
That's the difference. That's why times are different, programs are different, guidelines are different. So again, everything has to be tailored to that customer.
Don't be coming behind his office talking about my friend got his payment ain't but $750, and your friend bought his house 30 years ago. You ain't getting the same $750 payment as your friend. We don't care nothing about that. Listen, I'm leaving the QR code up there if you want to qualify. If you're thinking about buying a home, tonight is your night. We got the people that can help you. Scan this QR code, go talk to my guy, Bahani. He go get you laced. Okay. If you're looking, for those of you guys who are tuning on, we're talking to Bahani Agalheir and LaQuanda Thompson about the home buying process. Eric Green is saying, I see the home team dream. I see the home team dream space realty group. So he is
Yes,
shouting out
one of
LaQuanda.
my agents.
Yeah. Now, LaQuanda, I want to go ahead and tune in to you. All right. We've talked. I might have some more questions for you, Bahani, but I want to switch over and start talking to LaQuanda. Okay. So, LaQuanda, after I have went to Bahani, all right, he has got me pre-qualified for whatever I'm trying to buy. I'm calling you saying, Quanda, I got this cash that Bahani has given me. I need you to help me find my dream home. How does that process start? What do they need to do to get in contact with one of you or your agents? And how long does your process take until I can get my home?
So for me, it can happen a couple of ways. There are times when the buyer or client comes to me first, and then I speak to them, kind of find out what their needs are, and then I shift them over to Bahani. And there are other times when they may have been to Bahani first and then come to me. But however, when we start our process, I like to do a buyer's consultation with them first. And
Okay.
in that buyer's consultation, I speak to them about the process and what to expect, what my expectations are of them, and what their expectations should be of me. I explain our buyer's agency agreement because, by law, we have to have one. I have to have that in place before I can even show them a home. And so
Okay.
I go over things like, the process, what to expect. Okay, we're going to, go look at houses. You're working with me exclusive. If you see something on the market that you like, you bring it to me. I negotiate on your behalf. We sit down and we talk about what's important to them, what their needs are as far as location. Some people want to be in a certain location so that their children can attend a certain school. I talk to them about the inspection process, and then what happens after the inspection process. What goes on when the appraisal takes place, and I even kind of talk to them about things that may come up as far as the lending process is concerned. So, but once we get all of those things in order and in place, the best part to most buyers is going out to shop,
Mm-hmm.
and when we go out to shop, I like to ask them, what their must-haves are. And I try to get them at least some of those items. Nothing is perfect. No house
Right.
is perfect. It's perfect for that individual, but you may get some of your things, you may not. You may have to sacrifice one thing for another. And so I always like to tell them I'm gonna do my very best, but I can't promise you Jesus in a jug, but I definitely will do my best. And it's just setting, the proper expectations, because when you're doing a real estate transaction, time is of the essence. And I mean, it truly is, everything that has to be done in a timely manner. If we do an inspection, we have to get those things that are needed for repair back to the seller in a certain time frame. And if you're working for the seller, vice versa.
Right.
Dealing with your lender, there are certain things that you have to get into them in a certain time frame for us to meet that magical closing date. So
Okay.
pretty
Okay.
much those.
All right, we got Monica Brewster on here. We are President Dream Space Realty Group. I see you got Lukey down there. People don't know her as Lukey, but we got Monica Brewster down there.
Hey,
And
Monica.
yeah, and Santasha Alston. Yes, LaQuanda Thompson rocks. Sierra Hayes is saying we are here. Are these all your agents on here?
My agents, yes, those are my agents. And I have a great team of agents, by the way. They are absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. We're
So
gonna talk. I'm gonna come back to the agents. Okay. I need to ask you a question. Is you were talking about sitting down with your customer. How important, I like to call what you do at first like a customer needs analysis, right? You sit down with the customer. Hey, I've got, Bahani has said I've got $400,000 or whatever that amount is. Okay. Here's what I want. I want a garage. I want to be in West Little Rock. I want this. I want this. I want that. How important is it for them and you to do a really good customer needs analysis about what they're asking you to help them find? That's the first side, that first question. And the second part of that question is, how important is it for you to be honest and say, now, man, you out of your damn mind. You know you're not finna get no mansion. You ain't got but $250,000. You want air conditioner, you want heat. So how is it important for you as a realtor to say, to be honest with your clients?
It's very important, but that's why the most important thing is to build a solid relationship with your client, so that they trust you and you trust them, and that they know that anything that I say and I do is in their best interest. And it's very important to understand what their needs are, because some people, they need certain things, and it's very crucial to their way of life. It can be something because they may have a handicapped individual, so those things are important. But it is also important that they know that they have to also be realistic, and not talking about anybody, because I've been the same way, where my eyes are bigger than my pocketbook.
Right.
And I have had clients who they may get approved for $100,000, and they're like, I need a swimming pool, I need to be on a 1 acre lot, and I need, I mean, the works, and then they want it all modern and new construction. I mean, it's, and so I carry around with me an imaginary round table, because every now and then I have to pull out the round table and say, come on, let's sit back down, let's sit down, and let's remember what our whys are. And I think it's just important to let people know, especially first-time home buyers, this is your first home. It doesn't have to be your last home. We may not get everything in this home, but this home may turn into your investment property to help you move to that next level, so you can get that pool and the 3-car garage with the marble floors and the 12-foot ceilings, or whatever it is that they want. But sometimes, in order to get them from point A to point B, we have to be a little bit more realistic and start somewhere.
Okay. How important is patience when you're searching, right? Is it realistic, LaQuanda, to find a house in a week that you like?
It is realistic. Actually, it just depends on the person, the client. I have some people who come in and they come out with their list. They know what they want. They know what they're looking for. They have absolutely no interest in seeing 30 houses. They have 5 that they want to see, and they know, hey, by the end of the day, I'm gonna put an offer in on one of those 5.
Okay.
And I mean, really, we run into people like that. And then I have people that I've been working with, and no lie, for like 2 years, 3 years, where they're in and out. They bobbing and weaving, and I'm here when they come, I may have to put my focus on clients that are, eager and ready to go, more so, but I'm still there when they call. I'm still there when they jump back in. I'm shooting them back to whoever their lender is, whether that's Bahani or whoever. But, so it just depends on the person. Some people are decisive and some people are indecisive, but it is very possible.
So I heard you say, and I don't want to quote you, is it the more prepared you are and realistic you are, the easier that process goes, you think? Would that be fair to say?
Very fair to say. Very fair to say.
Okay.
And I also want to point out that they don't have to use the entire amount of their loan. Like, they don't have to be pressured to feel like if they get approved because they may get approved for $500,000, but they may not like that $500,000 payment.
Yeah.
They may be more comfortable with a payment at $300,000, and that's okay.
And I want to pause because one of the questions that I thought about, I told you I was going to come back to Bahani. When you do a pre-approval, is that rate guaranteed?
No, the rate isn't guaranteed.
Wait a minute, honey. So you pump faking on me? You saying that I'm approved for this, but you saying it ain't get what? So what good is a pre-approval for? If you tell me I'm pre-approved for 500, I go find a car for 500, a house for 500, and then you go check me to do a deeper dive, and you say, B-Love, I really thought you was approved. So what good? I mean, if it's not in concrete, what good is a pre-approval good for?
So everything kind of changes. Time change, the rates change daily, and so you may have, rates today could be, say, 6%, right? Something happened in the economy, and your pre-approval is normally good. We normally give you a 90-day pre-approval. So you wait, and then 2.5 months later, Now
It's
rates have
different.
gone up to 6.5 for you. You
Hmm.
see that just everything is changing.
Yeah.
And now so we can't typically have to lock with the property address. So if you haven't picked out a property, they can't really lock your rate. We can just kind of give you an idea of what the rate is, and
Yeah.
then from there. But I typically I go higher, and hopefully everything is lower, and then we say, hey, I quoted you at a 6.5, but it's actually, it may have been 6%. That way we still have room for, if anything is
And then I
higher.
think a lot of times your finances has changed too. When I
Mhm.
came in to get this loan from you, I ain't had no debt. Since then, I done balled out and got me 3 more credit cards. And so
Yeah.
now you expect to get the same thing, and my finances is different. So that's another thing that could affect your pre-approval, that makes it, not legible, not guaranteed. Everything changes, is what I hear you saying. Okay, Kwanda, here it is. You talked about people buying their second. Is buying your second and third home any different from buying your first? Does it get any easier?
Um, I would say if you have your affairs in order, that part gets easier. The nerves that come with it, and and the frustrations, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's buying a home is nerve wracking. I do this for a living, and when I bought the current house, and I do this, and I'm a part of this every day. I was just like, please hurry this thing up. Like, is the underwriter done? Are they looking in my file? Did they go in my bank account? Do I got enough money in that joint? Like it's just a nerve wracking process. But I do think that when you buy your first home and then you go to your second home, you do know a little bit more of what
Mhm.
to expect. So in that aspect, I think it gets a little better each
And
time.
and let's talk about when you're buying a home and you own a home. Is it better to sell that first home first?
It depends because some people want to sell their home and buy another, and some people want to keep their current home and rent it and then buy another. And that also is going to have has a lot to do with their debt to income ratio as well,
Yeah.
because there are people who want to keep their home, but they're too. I mean, the Bahani can correct me, a little too top heavy, so their income does not allow for them to take on two mortgages at one time.
Yeah, that's what I
Along with
was gonna. Yeah, I'm glad you hit on it, because I was gonna go back to Bahani and say, obviously, if you own a home and you're not trying to, like LaQuanda say, you want to use it as a rental property. So do you guys now look and say, if you lose your job, can you afford these 2 homes since you're basically keeping both of them?
We do look at it. It depends on what program you end up using, what type of loan you had on that first one. If it allows to get a second loan type, or a lot of times you can use the rental, like you can use a lease agreement. So let's say, hey, I have this house right now. My payment on that house is $1,000. I
Hmm.
can rent this house out for $1,500, and so now that lease is offsetting the payment on that
That
house.
income is what you're saying
Yes,
from that.
yes,
Okay.
from
Okay.
from leasing the house. So now you pretty much free from that house, so you can still buy another house and have a good job. I mean,
Okay.
your
LaQuanda.
debt to income is free for that house.
Okay. Okay. LaQuanda, back to you. What are red flags buyers often miss doing showing? What are some of the red flags that buyers miss?
I think new buyers first, coming in, the thing that they look at the most is just the cosmetics. They look at the bells and whistles. Oh, this is nice. I love this flooring. I like this, and they don't look at the um, mechanical parts of the home. So I think like not paying attention to the condition of the roof, trees around the house, because now insurance companies will not insure your home if you have branches that are overhanging your roof because they consider it a hazard. Not paying attention to the HVAC,
Hmm.
and those are things that they will find out through inspection, even if they want to move forward. But I think that a lot of times buyers pay too much attention to the cosmetics that can be easily changed. Like, I don't like this wall color. You can go to Home Depot and buy paint,
Yeah.
but this floor is shifting when you walk.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Let me ask you this. What are some of the things that you look at when you're suggesting that when you're showing homes to people to decide if their home will appreciate? What are some of the things you look at to see if they're gonna buy a home today that's worth 200,000, and then 5 years from now it's gonna plummet it to be 150, versus they buy today for 200, and then 5 years it's worth 300? What are some of the things that you look at to decide if your house is going to appreciate?
I think you can, to me, look at the way things are, the market is trending and the location, the certain areas, because you have a lot of areas now, like even like around Central High School. If we just think about that area, where several years back, people would be like, "There's no way," I would, buy over there, and then as things
Right.
started changing and developers started coming in and they started gentrifying those areas. And then they started building homes, cleaning up the neighborhoods, and you might have literally a house that may you look at it and you may think if you blow on it, it's going to fall apart. And
Right.
directly across the street where they've already started to make those changes, those houses are being built and selling for 200, 300,
Right.
$1,000 homes,
Right.
So I think, we kind of watch the market trends in areas and things of that nature.
Okay. Okay. I always hear people talk about it's a buyer's market, it's a seller's market. What type of market is it right now, LaQuanda? Is it a seller's market or a buyer's market?
I was just talking to somebody about that today. I kind of feel like it's an even playing field. Do you, Bahani? I kind of feel like
I feel like
I don't
it's
feel like it's
even.
leaning too much over on the seller side, or on the buyer side. I feel like we have a good amount of inventory. It's not really a scarce situation. I feel like buyers are coming out of their shell. They're buying more. I don't think it's really slowing down. We had a period where people were, kind of slacking because of interest rates, but right now, I kind of feel like it's an even playing field right now, and I think it's a good time to buy. I always tell people, sometimes you have to look at the big picture. A lot of people focus a lot on the interest rate, and
Hmm.
sometimes you need to also focus on the price of the home in that time, like at this current time, because you can wait on interest rates to go down, and then when they do go down, now the home price have went up, and you can't change that home price. You can always go back and refinance if you keep your ducks in a row and get a better rate. So I always tell people to marry the house and date the interest because that can change.
Wow. Wow. Neil Hood is saying, great conversation. This can clear up a lot of confusion. Um, Now, I want to ask you this, Quanda, in a time where you being a female, being a realtor, going out, meeting clients late, how do you keep, and this question is not on here, how do you keep yourself safe?
So I vet my clients first of all. And so I ask for identification. We have an app called Forewarn that's provided for us through the real estate board. So we're able to put in clients or customers' telephone number, and it brings up their background. So if they have any type of criminal history, we can see that. I also never, ever, ever meet a buyer or seller for the first time alone that I've never met, that I don't have a relationship with. I don't show homes at night because I feel like anything if I go show you a house at night, guess what? We're gonna have to go back and see it in the daytime because there's nothing that you can see. So I always take somebody with me. I don't do open houses alone,
Okay.
and so things like that. Just those little bitty like safety measures.
Good, 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 good for you. My last question for you is, what's the one thing you wish that everybody knew? Like, if you had a room full of people that they're all thinking about buying home, what is the one thing that you want to leave to impress them? This is what you need to be thinking about when you come to talk with me. What is the one thing you think wish everybody knew?
I think it's not even about, honestly, about coming to talk to me. The one thing that I wish that everybody knew is that real estate, owning a piece of real estate is such, I mean, it can really put you in a good financial position. To me, I feel like it helps establish, generational wealth. That's a property that you can pass down to your future generations. When you buy a piece of real estate, even if you decide, hey, I no longer want to stay here, you can rent it. You can do Airbnb. You can pull money from that property to do other things that you may need to do with the equity that you build. I just feel like a lot of times we don't have the opportunity to save money, a large amount of money in a short amount of time. I have a property that I've owned and I've had that property for, I think, 12 years now. So if I go today and sell that house, I'm going to walk away with at least 100 grand because that's how much equity I've built in that home. And so I feel like real estate is not something that people should be afraid of. And I also want to say that you have to just believe that you can do this, that you can achieve, this goal. I run into a lot of, single parents or just, people who have children who want better for their children. And the parents may not be in the best financial situation right now. And me, I'm an open book, so I'm going to use my platform to say it's definitely not how you start, it's how you finish. Think about the things that you can show your children that you didn't get to see. And so I've been that person that didn't have the best paying job, had to be on public assistance. I've even been on Section 8, and I'm sitting here now, the owner of a real estate brokerage. So, despite what your current situation may be, just start somewhere.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Now we've covered a lot of aspects of buying a home, but let me ask you, if there is a realtor that is thinking about that they want to be under a brokerage, why should they come? And we're going to talk about your team. I got a video I'm sure about your team. What makes your brokerage different from other brokerages around the state, the city, and why should they come and work with LaQuanda Thompson?
Oh, we have a great culture. We are very heart-centered, community-centered, and community-focused. Everyone at my brokerage truly has a passion for helping people. Money is one thing. We have to support ourselves and take care of our families, but we really do care more about the people that we serve and their best interest. And I think at Dream Space Realty Group, you're going to find family and community resources, proper training. I'm a broker that always answers my phone within reason. I'm probably sleep at 11, but I answer my phone. I support my agents. We have space within our brokerage for them to do home buying seminars. We have CRM systems to keep up with their sales, their data. And we truly just support each other. We are all there for each other. If you can't get me, you can also reach out to one of our senior agents like Sierra. She's always willing to help. Cornelia is always willing to help. So it's like and a plethora of more, but we are just family based and we really care about the people we serve. And so if you care about really helping people and contributing and giving back to your community, then I feel like Dream Space is the place for you to be.
All right. Before we get out of here, I got a video that I want to play, and I want you to explain what this video that I'm getting ready to play. And you've got some people that are not on this video. We're going to shout them out too. But before I play this video, what is this video that I'm about to play? What is it about?
So it's just a short clip with just a few of the women that are part of Dream Space. We are missing a few of our agents on there, but it's just them saying why, or us saying why we decided to choose Dream Space Realty Group, why I decided to start Dream Space Realty Group, and why they decided to come aboard and join me on my mission at Dream Space.
All right, I'm gonna play it and we'll come right back. Here we go.
All right.
Dream Space Realty Group was born from my dream to create more than just transactions. I wanted to create a community where people felt supported, connected, and truly at home.
I chose Dream Space Realty Group because I believe in my broker's vision and the way that we make dreams come a reality.
My broker looks like me. She's African-American woman just like me. We share the same ideas. We want to help people. It just seemed like the perfect fit.
So I ended up going Dream Space Realty Group because the broker, the culture, it was heart-centered, right? It was community-centered and passion. So it's just our hearts were the same. That's it.
All right, so those are the people. Now you got some people. Your team has grown since you made this video. Shout out the people that were not able to get on this this video here.
Okay, so in the video, of course, we saw Sierra, Monica, and Shia, but we also have Cornelius Hood. He's been in real estate for several years and also happens to be my cousin. We have Shay Booth, Eric Green, who just joined, Amber Witherspoon, and Karen Lindsay, that are all a part of Dream Space. So it's a great group of 8. I say we might be small, but we are definitely mighty for sure.
Okay, all right. I see Miss Wade saying hello, friend, and Satasha Alston. She said she could answer that when I asked her, why should you come to your brokerage? LaQuanda Thompson is a Christian. She's kind, honest, and caring. But honey, I didn't ask you about your brokerage firm, your mortgage place over there. Do you have anybody, team members that you would like to shout out on that's on your team over there as well?
Yes, well, I have a dedicated processor, a loan processor that's just processing all of my files, and I also have a loan assistant who's very seasoned and helps me out. They are just amazing people, and they believe in my vision. Again, I just love what I do, and for me, it's all about helping that customer and get them into their house. Especially, I have a passion for the underdog, the person that think, oh, I can't get a house. That's my challenge now. You can't get a house, I'm gonna get you in that house. That's my challenge. That's what I like.
All right, guys, what did we miss? We talked about a lot of stuff. What did we miss? Did we miss anything? Did I forget to ask? Is there anything that you want to share? Did we miss anything in this conversation?
I don't think we missed anything, but I just want to give a shout out to Bahani. We've done a lot of deals together, and I don't pass my clients on to people lightly. I want my clients to be with somebody that I know is going to take care of them and treat them the way that I would and give them that customer service. Bahani is amazing, super patient, and a lot of times he gets the hardest files, and even people within the loan industry come to him for help because he thinks outside of the box and he's very knowledgeable. So I just appreciate being able to work with him and the care that he gives to my clients.
Great job. All right, I'm gonna give you guys clothing thoughts, clothing remarks. Tell these people how to contact you if they want to do business with you.
Bahani, you want to go first?
Bahani, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna let you go first.
One, you can scan that QR code.
I'm gonna put it back up here as you talk.
My phone number is on there. You can call me at any time, 501-366-3383. That's my cell phone. You can call me or text me at any time, but scan the QR code and it's going to have all my information. Again, get started. It's not a scary process. It's very easy. Like LaQuanda said, I've had customers that bought a house 5 years ago. He just did a line of credit today that just closed for $50,000. He just bought the house. Now if he was renting, he wouldn't have had anything. He would just be renting still, But now he could pull almost $50,000 just to take care of some business that he had.
Okay. LaQuanda, what about you? Last clothing thoughts and telling them how to get in contact with you.
All right. So if you need to get in contact with me for your real estate needs, or if you need a brokerage, my cell phone number is 501-612-6144. My website is dreamspacerg.com. You'll find all my contact information on there, and I'm simply LaQuanda Thompson on Facebook. SoQuanda on Instagram. But anyway, it's all on my page. You can DM me, you can text me, you can give me a call. I answer to either. So I look forward to working with anybody out there. And if you're not ready to buy, if you have questions, still give us a call. Let us help you so that you'll be ready and prepared when that time comes.
All right, you guys are giving your closing statements. I'm going to give mine, and then we'll let you go. Okay, home ownership isn't just about having a dream. It's about preparation, education, and having the right people in your corner. Tonight's conversation wasn't about pressure. It was about clarity. So people understand what it takes, what to expect, and how to move smarter instead of guessing. I appreciate LaQuanda Thompson of Dream Space Realty Group and Bahani Agalheir Flat Branch Mortgage for breaking this down honestly and giving people the tools they need to move forward with confidence. If ownership is your goal, the first step is knowledge. And now you have it. I want to thank you guys both for sharing your knowledge, your education tonight. There is a lot of people out there that are needing to buy a home, just don't think that they possibly will qualify, don't think that they can get it done. So thank you guys. I share the opinion of the gentleman that said that this was Neil Hood, who said this was great conversation. This was definitely great conversation. Quanda, look like you got your whole team. Let me before I get out of here, Monica Brewster saying Bahani Agalheir is the GOAT. And Hood is saying Bahani Agalheir and LaQuanda Thompson always take care of the things with professionalism and so much help. Much love and thanks for allowing them on your great platform. This was great information. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you again.
Let us thank you. I truly appreciate you for allowing us on your platform. You didn't have to do it. You could have had any other guest, and we do appreciate you for giving us this time. And we hope that through this, somebody else gets that key to home ownership.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, there you have it. You have the people that can help you. They gave you their contact information. Now, all we're missing is you. You guys have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And don't forget, we come on Sunday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So y'all keep watching the Unpacking the Baggage podcast. Y'all have a good night, okay?
You too.
All right. All right, I'm gonna let my guests out of here. I have a couple announcements before I let you guys go. Do not forget, next Wednesday, B-Level's big birthday interview, 7:30, right here. I have been helping people unpack their baggage. Next Wednesday, Tony Seville, she has over 30 years in the game. She will help me unpack my baggage. I'm telling you, your brother was screwed up, okay? I was jacked up. I'm going to talk about it next week. This is my first interview, all right, in a long time, all right? And I'm going to unpack my baggage next Wednesday, 7:30, okay? And then the following Wednesday, we have Telly Noel Sr., who's going to be on the platform. We are talking to extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. The following Wednesday, February the 25th, Telly Noel Sr. And then don't forget, we have a great team on Sunday, the Unpacking the Baggage podcast, myself, Little Rock Princess, Tristan Hobbs, Anthony P., Candy Webb, and then our news and trending topic girl, Jayla with the T. We come on every Sunday, all right, 7 o'clock every Sunday. I honestly believe that we are the dopest podcast in the world. I say that's our tagline, but I truly believe that, okay? So don't forget to join us each and every Sunday, 7 o'clock right here. I'll tell you guys, good night. Thank you for watching. We'll see you Sunday at 7 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Good night.
Had another rough conversation with the voices in your head.